Withdrawal timelines. Why it is so hard to pinpoint withdrawal. Let's get into it. K Ruggs, the Soberdog, coming at you. Got certified CARC, certified addiction recovery coach. Yeah, withdrawal. A lot of questions about it. A lot of people ask different things about withdrawal. Before I get started, remember Soberdogs does not promote or condone any drug use. Please seek professional medical help if you have an addiction. Recovery is possible. The thing with withdrawal, I get a lot of questions from a lot of people about how long is this withdrawal going to last? How long is that one going to last? What can you do to get it better? What can I do to, everything to do with it. So when it comes to withdrawal, I would say there's a ton of factors at play. If you are detoxing from whatever substance, I highly, highly, highly recommend you do it at a hospital, detox, rehab, somewhere with professionals. It's just easier. They can monitor you. They could do it, whatever. So that's the first thing that always get asked this question, social media. Hey, I'm detoxing from dope starting tomorrow, from alcohol, from fill in the blank. What do you recommend? And I'll say, well, how are you doing it? And a lot of times I get I'm doing it at home. I personally would say don't, because it's dangerous to do it at home and the success rate is pretty much zero for people who try to detox themselves. It's just how it is. It's the truth. With that being said, some people are going to do it anyway. I tried a ton of times to do that myself with multiple different substances. Then they ask, okay, well, how long is it going to be? It's almost impossible to write out an exact withdrawal timeline because it is going to be different for every person, body type, how much you've been using, what substances you're using, how long you've been using. There's a lot of things that come into play. When you're talking about alcohol or benzo detox, I'd highly recommend do not do it alone. Do not do it at your house. Do not do it unless you are medically supervised. Both of those can be deadly. Both of those can cause seizures, a lot of other things. The other part is when people are detoxing, the vast majority of us are not coming off one thing. We're not just coming off heroin. We're not just coming off alcohol. We're coming off multiple different things, which adds a whole new element into the mix. It could be very dangerous and just unpredictable. So somebody says, I'm detoxing this, tomorrow's my day number 1. How long you think it's going to last? I can give you a rough estimate. If you're talking about, opioids, you're looking at 4 to 8 days of physical stuff and then another couple days of the mental detox. But then you got post-acute withdrawal, which can come in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. It could last up to 6 months to a year, and it could hit, you might detox after a week, be great. And then 3 months later, pause comes in and starts kicking your ass, more of the mental stuff. Then also, if they ask that question, my, first question back to them would be, how much were you taking? What were you taking? What frequency as far as like physically how much as the amount, but then how much like frequency, how often, how many times a day? Also frequency as in duration, were you using for 6 months or for 16 years? All those things are going to come into play. Do you have any pre-existing health conditions? Do you take other meds? Do you have other things going on? All these factors are going to jump into it. And when all these jump into it, it makes withdrawal, detox totally unpredictable. I remember times, I'm coming off what I thought was just, heroin was my main thing. I would do other stuff here and there, but not as often at the time. But here's something I didn't take into play. Any single time I could get benzos before I did heroin, I got them. This turned out to be the last maybe 7-8 weeks before this specific detox time. I probably did benzos 5 times a week. That was a lot. And when I started to come off the dope, what I didn't realize is I was coming off benzos as well. That added a whole new element to the withdrawal that I never experienced up to that point in time, and that made it a lot more difficult because there was symptoms I never felt. There were inside feelings that were like, I didn't know what they were. I thought something was very wrong with me because I had detoxed from opioids before and had a general idea of what it would feel like. Boom, all these new things are coming in and I'm like, what is this? Like, something's wrong. I felt like my insides were burning out because it was different withdrawals added on. And if you guys know from other videos I put up, that drug synergy effect, benzos and opioids, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It equals 3, 4, 5, because the drugs, when they're both in your brain together, they have this, I don't know how to describe it, they both boost each other, so the effects get more. So taking all those together, it made it just brutal. Then you got other things to add on to the mix. In my opinion, cocaine withdrawal is terrible. A lot of people will argue that because there's not much of a physical withdrawal from cocaine. It's there, but it's nothing like opioids. The mental withdrawal from it is insane. I was using dreams about coke months after quitting it. To this day, have never had a using dream on heroin. Oxy I have, not heroin. So that's why it's so hard to pinpoint a withdrawal timeline. I can't give people an accurate assessment. The most rough guess I could give people is typically plan on, to be safe, 2 weeks of physical detox, whatever substance. Let's just say, it's probably not going to be that long, but let's just say 2 weeks of physical withdrawal and another week or 2 of mental withdrawal. And then depending on how much damage and destruction is going on in your life, that mental withdrawal could be substantially longer. What I mean by that is I'll put the other video up, The Truth About Being Dope Sick. I'll put a card up. As I said in that video, the part that makes withdrawal and detox so hard, a lot of times is not the physical. Yeah, that's a bitch, but it's what's going on up here. I'm detoxing. I'm on day 5, 6, 7, whatever. Maybe the physical's getting a little better. And then all I could think about is, car's out of gas, flat tire. Cops are looking for me. Parole's looking for me. I owe this person, and this person money. My girl dumped me. My parents are kicking me out of the house. My job's about to fire me. All this stuff adds to that mental detox and makes it brutal. So somebody who is coming off of a year of opioid use, or even mixed opioids and other stuff, that maybe doesn't have a ton of outside destruction, is going to be a lot different than somebody coming off 6 years of living on the street opioid detox. There's going to be a lot more destruction to kind of mentally cope with and deal with. All that stuff adds into withdrawal. Huge adds into withdrawal. That is some of the detox stuff. That's why it's so hard to pinpoint the timeline. But there's generic rules you could follow and check out online with each different substance. But then you got to take into consideration the whole mix. So it's hard. I can't give people a direct answer. Ask the specific question in the comments or in a private email, and I'll try to give you the best answer I can. Again, please do it professionally if you have the ability to. So much better and a higher success rate. All right, Kate Ruggs, and I'm out. See ya.